Yeah, stay safe out there. Road's still a little iffy on my drive in this morning.
I saw a car on fire.
I saw the same car. It was
just on fire.
Just
sick brag, bro.
Straight up on fire, right out here on the on-ramp, right off the Soldiers Field Road.
It actually reminded me of the Warriors and some of the stuff that they were into.
Think it was an homage?
Maybe.
It might have been.
It was just like on the side. It was in like a little like side road, and it was just like in the center console, just ablaze.
Yeah, and just to paint the picture.
What?
Paint the picture of on fire, like
no fire.
Fully engulfed in flames, like not like a little smoke coming out of it.
I was waiting for it to explode like in the movies. I was like, is that thing gonna blow up?
Yeah. We were like in 21 Jump Street just waiting for it. No, it was like you could feel the heat coming off.
It was very strange.
So
I saw a couple accidents. Thankfully there weren't too many people on the road to make our way in, but
no, the ones that were on fire. But yeah, it was a bit dicey out there. A lot of shoveling. My back is feeling it.
I am feeling it.
Bending over, picking up this glitter, Keefe. Yeah. Because there's glitter everywhere in this studio. Glitter guns. If you missed it, at Jones and Keefe on Twitter and Instagram.
Glitter guns.
You can see us. Only the second time we've broken them out. Drake May's debut. And this. I think we've been pretty judicious.
Yeah.
And when we fired the glitter off.
I would say so.
But bending over and picking up some of this glitter is just I'm feeling every single bit of my back every time I'm doing that. Yep. So I would agree with
you're too old.
I feel that. Yeah, I do feel that way.
When Kraft says stay safe out there.
He means it.
Huge block kick by Leonard Taylor yesterday. I didn't realize at real speed he blocked it. They immediately are like, hey, I think somebody got a hand.
No, and
I
do like a double take too on who it even was.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Released by the Jets when they were 0-6, winds up on the Patriots making a play in the AFC title game. I saw our guy Terp, tweet this out, running Twitch today. Yeah. He's going to go as like, if they go on to win a Super Bowl, he's going to go down as like one of these, maybe overlooked, but like hardcore fans are going to know that name. I know they didn't win the Super Bowl, but like Sterling Moore making a big play in an AFC title game, like that level of play where it's like, who was that guy? Leonard Taylor was that guy who blocked the kick.
I was like, Richard Seymour's back? Is he wearing number 93? I was like, what in the world? And then you hear the story and like the practice squad and getting called up and whatever else. And he tipped it because again, if that goes through, what happens in this game? Like you had no chance. Were the Patriots going to be able to move the ball on offense? No. It was going to have to be
not according to Romo. I mean, no one would be able to do anything going in that direction according to Romo.
Well, the overtime coin toss, it would have come down to the coin toss then. He would have been like, I don't even want the ball. I just want to defend this.
Then you defer. I want to go this way.
Yes, I want to kick it that way, please.
So the Pats went 3 and out, and then they had the naked bootleg with May their next 2 drives. So that was it. But, huge play by Leonard Taylor to come up in that spot. And, I imagine what the haters are going to say is the Patriots are lucky. And you're lucky you got Jarrett Stidham, and you're lucky that you had their kicker missing a few kicks, even though one was blocked. You're lucky the path that you had. You're lucky that, you've had some balls bounce your way. I mean, Drake May's fumbled 1 million times in this postseason. They pretty much have all bounced back to the Patriots. I imagine if there's any knock on the Pats, that's what you'll hear. And I don't think it's disrespectful that Seattle's favored. I think Seattle probably should be favored. They're battle tested. They had a great regular season. Yeah. I still don't love Darnold, but he played great yesterday. They beat the Rams. They beat the Rams a couple of times. The Pats don't have those types of wins on their resume. I don't think it's disrespectful that Seattle's favored at all. Do you think that narrative that the Pats are lucky to be here is fair?
No, I don't. I agree with you that people are going to find ways to sort of twist themselves around a little bit and not give credit when a team is in the playoffs, or I'm sorry, in the Super Bowl, because all year long it was like, oh, the schedule's easy. It's like, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but they just beat 3 playoff teams? Must have, right? Kind of has to be. And on top of that, 3 of the 5 best defenses. There's already those stats going around, this would be the opposite of the hater, which would point out no team has ever played 3 top 5 defenses on the way to a Super Bowl and might have to play another one.
They're going to be playing another one in the Super Bowl, yeah.
So that's what's going on. They've been able to beat top defenses. But no, this is people sort of defending whatever their previous take was, the fool's gold take and things like that. So I don't think it's like a ton of people that feel that way, because at some point you do have to tip your cap to the team that's in the Super Bowl. And it might be a New England thing, right? Because people are so sick of New England being good, and they thought maybe they'd be down for longer than that they were. So there's going to be people that are pissed about that. But I was looking up another team that I don't feel like gets the, they were lucky, or they were like they shouldn't be in the Super Bowl tag. So 2022 season, the Philadelphia Eagles made the Super Bowl. They didn't win it. That was the year that they lost to Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But they made the Super Bowl. Similar thing. They were 14-3. Do you remember, and I would guess most people probably don't, unless you were an Eagles fan,
who they beat en route to the Super Bowl?
The two teams, so they had a bye, so they only had 2 games before the Super Bowl.
2022, I do not.
They beat Daniel Jones and the Giants by like 100 points. And then Brock Purdy got hurt in the first quarter, and they played Josh Johnson and the San Francisco 49ers, who was signed like a week or 3 weeks earlier.
The one difference I would say between they knocked him out. Somebody else knocked out Bo Nix for you, but
same idea.
True.
Like Josh Johnson played the vast majority of the NFC Championship game.
It's a backup quarterback in the NFC.
But you're like,
game.
they shouldn't be there. What are they doing there? I mean, you're like, you didn't really have that.
I mean, Purdy was a backup that year, right? So I mean, I think they were basically on to their third quarterback. That was Garoppolo,
and guess what?
And Purdy took over for him, I think.
And they were favored in the Super Bowl. So they beat Daniel Jones and Josh Johnson, and they were the favorite. Now, they had a good team.
Favored against Mahomes.
Against Mahomes. I remember running to the counter and taking Mahomes. I think that was when like sports betting was not on the app yet, but you could go to like the Encore or whatever and do that. So I remember like running over there and like betting on Mahomes and the Chiefs brag. But no, I feel like, you know, it's one of those things that like, I don't know if like history will remember it as much as like in the here and the now. Right? Like 10 years from now, you'd be like, Drake May made the Super Bowl his second year. I don't think one of the first things mentioned is, but it was Jarrett Stidham in the AFC title game.
I agree.
You know what I mean? It'll sort of get forgotten.
I think around here, that might get brought up a little bit. Yeah. Similar to the Celtics. We talked about the Celtics run a couple of years ago. I can't help but look at the road the Celtics have and say that was very fortunate. When you're going against the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell, and you're going against the Pacers without Halliburton, and the Heat without Jimmy Butler, and it's a 5 seed in the NBA Finals with Fat Luka, I can't help but say, boy, that was a pretty easy path. Right. It doesn't mean the Celtics championship doesn't count. They might have beat the field anyway. They were so good that year, they might have.
Yeah.
But that was very fortunate for them. I mean, on some level, it'll get remembered, I think, locally, but I agree. Nationally,
right.
5 years from now, 10 years from now, no one's going to hold that.
So, like, Nico Collins being out for Houston and then Bo Nix for Denver, like, I get those. Like, you are kind of catching a break. But I think it's really more of an argument for, you know what, there actually is just a lot of parity, and maybe the AFC is not as strong as it's been in other years, because if you're still pushing they caught breaks, weak schedule, who'd they play, who do you want them to play? Like, at this point, who did you want them to play?
I mean, Allen and Buffalo. I think a lot
who
of
they at least beat, right? Like, so at least they have that.
That's
that they
true.
Can
you
fall
can
back
say,
on.
well, the team we beat in Buffalo earlier this year.
They beat them in Buffalo in prime time. You all probably could have seen it.
Yeah.
They weren't playing. There's no other game on at that time. So I agree with you. Like, they beat a Buffalo team already this year, but guys like Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen didn't even make the playoffs. They also beat Herbert, Stroud, who I'm not telling you are the greatest quarterbacks in the world, but it's not Daniel Jones from the Giants and Josh Johnson from the Niners. Those are real quarterbacks.
They are. And
those are the team's franchise quarterbacks.
I think that's a fair way to say it. Stidham was its own thing.
Yeah.
And in some ways, and this is not to let the Patriots off the hook and say it's all gravy and there's no stakes to losing a Super Bowl. There should be stakes to losing a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Losing to Stidham would have been a choke. I think there was a lot of pressure on May and a lot of pressure on the Pats in this AFC Championship game yesterday.
And I also feel like, going back to a previous caller, I feel like Drake May kind of played that way early. Like, he played like all the pressure was on him in the Pats.
The pressure yesterday was on the Pats. There is always pressure on teams to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Patriots have no pressure. There's more on the other side. The Seahawks are favored.
Yeah.
They were the team that was expected to be here. I think in that way, there's more pressure on the Seahawks in that game, which will probably work out in the Pats' favor.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of May, tell me if you agree with this, Keefe.
All right,
somebody texted in, guys, go look at Brady's 0-1 Super Bowl run. This is talking about May not playing very well. It's similar to May in 2026. It says do some homework. Here's the difference.
Do some homework.
Brady all year long was game manager-y.
Yeah. He wasn't the MVP of the league.
Drake May was the MVP or MVP runner-up this year, who has now regressed into what we're seeing in the postseason.
I would argue that guy or gal should do some homework.
I would say the same.
Because they had the numbers. Drake May was in the top 2 in yards and touchdowns for this season. Tom Brady in 0-1 had 18 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
It was like half of what.
How many picks? 12, 13, something like that? Yeah, exactly.
12.
I mean, Brady just wasn't Brady yet. He was still in the clutch. He could execute when you needed to, and we saw that against the Raiders, and we saw that in the Super Bowl against the Rams, but Brady in that postseason was the same guy he was all year. The Patriots didn't ask him to do anything else. This is very different. This is a regression from May.
Do you know how many Tom Brady touchdown passes he had in the 0-1 playoffs?
Okay, hang on. He didn't have one against the Raiders, correct? He just ran it.
Yeah,
he wouldn't have had one against the Steelers, I don't think. Bledsoe had that. So was it just the one to David Patton, or am I missing another one? He had one.
Yeah, no, I think it's very different. I think one similarity between the two would be these are some pretty incredible defenses, and maybe going into the year you didn't expect it to rank quite as highly as it did, but then in 0-1 it got to the point where you really could rely on those guys. They're making huge plays in the Super Bowl. You got Ty Law, with pick sixes and things like that. So, and they also, won a crazy weather game, right? Like maybe there are some similarities to 0-1, but I would say Brady and May really aren't one of them. Like Drake May, we are arguing as the MVP of the league. Tom Brady was more of like an incredible story, and he found ways to win, and he was productive in that sense, but he wasn't, ever really lighting up the scoreboard.
I think beyond, having the arguably the MVP, who has not played that way in the postseason. I said earlier, if I was going to grade May's postseason, like C+, B-, something like that.
Probably agree. Yeah.
You also have a head coach who I think, as we said, he understood the assignment. He got what was needed in that game yesterday, which Sean Payton did not. This is Mike Vrabel on the weather in the second half and the team's approach.
As the second half went along, how bad did it get? And at what point did you realize it was going to be that kind of game? And
well, I mean, I would say halfway through the third quarter. I think when we got that field goal, and again, wished it would have been able to be a touchdown, but it wasn't. And then, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And our defense was playing really good. And we were able to do just enough offensively to give them a break, and even kicking the football and the operation, and that stuff is things that you can't really replicate back home.
So we were talking earlier, Keefe. Can you win games on defense all the way to the Super Bowl? I'm starting to wonder now. I didn't feel that way going into yesterday's game, and maybe I'm too swung by the defense's performance against Jarrett Stidham. After all, I do think Mike Vrabel having the coaching advantage and, really getting the situation. I think it was J.J. Watt after the game was saying it's unbelievable how many he might even said this on Twitter. It's unbelievable how many coaches just don't understand situational football, and they're too worried about calling plays and not watching the game unfold in front of them. And this is Watt saying this. Not that he's neutral. He knows Vrabel, and he played for Vrabel in that Houston defense when Vrabel was a defensive coordinator. But I think that really played out yesterday. And look, Vrabel's never been to a Super Bowl as a coach. He's been there as a player. I imagine that's going to be, not to do our tail of the tape on a Monday.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of time to do tail of the tape.
I imagine that's going to be another game. And I think Mike McDonald's a good coach.
Mike McDonald's very good.
I think that's another situation and week where we're going to say Vrabel can win you that game.
Yeah, no, and it's not even a homer take. I mean, it might be perceived as one, but just like we wouldn't really take anybody over Drake May, like overall, like you're starting a team, like going forward, just age, the whole thing. Is there anybody you'd really want more than Vrabel? I think you can make a case for like McVay, and like McDonald's very good, but I don't think I would want anybody more than Vrabel.
Yeah, right. Well, I could pick. I'd take McVay,
okay.
But I really hated McVay's baby whining after the game yesterday.
There is that.
Like, he's like, they just lucked into it defensively, stopping our fourth down. They didn't do that intentionally and skirting any
but I feel like
I hated that from McVay, but McVay, that's probably it.
No, I know. It's pretty remarkable because I think you and I both were going all the way back to the hiring of Vrabel. Like, all right, that's a safe hire and not a very surprising hire.
I didn't like it.
I think he came across as like a good head coach and like one of these guys that is like the overseer of the entire football team. But you and I both wanted offensive geniuses because we thought that would help unlock Drake May. And really, I think it's Mike Vrabel, his ability to coach the entire team has really helped the quarterback, including the quarterback, right? Even though he's a former defensive player and that's more of his area of expertise. Like situational football, I think he's got Drake May knowing what to do. And it's kind of night and day from a year ago.
You hear, I don't know, it might be in this clip we're going to play in a moment, but May had one answer where he's like, I don't think Vrabel was very happy with me going out of bounds under the 2-minute warning. So, like, just...
Oh, yeah, but so you know that he's talking to him about that stuff all the time.
And he's just anticipating what Vrabel's going to say about the situational football. I thought that was kind of telling. This is Drake May on the Patriots not turning it over, which was a key in yesterday's game.
What did you change about your approach, if anything, as the second half was going along, conditions are getting worse, and sort of realize what kind of game it was going to be, the kind of score it's going to be?
Yeah, we were running the football and knowing that protecting the football once we got those 3 points out of halftime. That was a huge drive. Just protect the football and let our defense keep doing their thing. It was tough elements for offense. Our defenses were playing great and really just give our chance to to not lose the game and turn the ball over or do something where we put our defense in a bad spot. And our defense showed up every time and time again.
The one thing I'll give Romo yesterday, Keefe, and I think Romo was right about this.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Was he thinks May almost leaned too far in that direction where he was a little too afraid to try to make a play and too fixated on protecting the football. Do you think that was the right approach? Do you agree with Romo's analysis there? Because I think while it was good they didn't turn over the ball, and we spent all week saying they got to control the turnovers, and they did control the turnovers, I do think you need a little element of playmaking there, and that to me was a tough line they were straddling.
So
yesterday.
I feel like once you got to the middle of the third quarter, it was the right call, and it was like, edge of your seat, nail biting type of thing. But
so I'll agree with that. I feel like it was an all day long thing, but from the middle of the third quarter on, it was just don't lose the
earlier.
Football.
I could
don't
see.
Give them a short
plus,
field.
they were playing from behind for a little bit, so I could see like you're going to need to make some plays. But once you were up 3, you're like, all right, just don't turn it over. And I was getting a little nervous, and I'm sure you and others were as well, because Ramondre Stevenson, who has been killing it lately, did have some fumble issues earlier in the season. Drake May continues to have fumbling issues.
You see the one play with Ramondre, just to stick with him for a moment, where it looked like they ripped the ball out? Somebody on Denver clearly had a rip in there, and Ramondre held on to it. Good for him. Good for him.
Two of those guys, I guess one of these is a kneel down, but 35 carries between Ramondre and Drake May. Two guys that I wouldn't say are known for their ball security. And then in those conditions, you're like, oh my God, just don't fumble it. But no, I wanted them just to bleed clock. I wasn't looking for, especially in the fourth quarter, I was just watching the clock the whole time. And I was like, as long as you can punt it more than 20 yards, which was also a bit of a
debatable.
That guy, he was killing him.
Yeah, you wanted them to leave him in Denver?
Yeah. They might. The whole team might stay there.
They may have. I mean, Denver stayed there. They may have. We don't know that he's on the flight back.
Some people were trying to defend Behringer, and they were like, well, the weather was bad. His punts sucked before the weather turned, and then it got even worse. You're like, all you need is a few more yards, and then the punter on the other side was way better. That guy was punting his tail off.
Oh, so monster.
15 yards, 20 yards further than Behringer.
Did you know that he pinned the Bills in the 8-yard line?
I did hear that once or twice on the broadcast
yesterday. Did remember that, and he wanted everybody to know it. So there was that. But no, I mean, second half, I feel like you were just once you got the lead. So it was the first possession, they kicked the field goal, and then it started to get a little bit worse weather-wise. You're like, all right, just hold on to this thing, because that was the only way you were going to win.
Okay, 617-779-7937. You liked the weather, by the way? You enjoyed the weather yesterday?
I love a weather game.
Yes!
I love it. I know you don't, but that's fine.
I feel like yesterday, the end of that game, and I'm happy the Patriots won.
Love it.
I would not call that a good or entertaining football game. It was a great result. I think that's a good case.
Disagree. I think it's the opposite.
That's like evidence 1A for retractable roof is what we saw yesterday.
In fact, I want to rip all the roofs off all of the stadiums. I think they should all be like this, because it's not every single game. If you told me every game was this, I don't want every game like this.
I want all 3 and outs and punts for a whole quarter and a half of a game, but where no one can move the football.
That's strategy, a lot of good strategy.
Not really.
It's all strategy.
No, it's not.
Gamesmanship. You got to be able to know what the other team's going to do. You got your footing is very important.
Running back slipping before they can even get out of the backfield.
Love a weather game. In fact, I wanted more snow. There wasn't enough snow. They played in my backyard. It'd be a hell of a game.
I feel like these last two, for everybody, and they won them both, but for everybody who loves the weather and snow games, I don't feel like they've been great for Drake May, personally. I don't feel like he seems to be thriving in those games.
That's all right. Did the Patriots win the Snow Bowl if it wasn't in the snow?
They probably don't win that one, no.
Probably not.
Brady was really good in the elements. I don't know how good this guy is, but he's 2-0.
Working the kinks out.
2-0 in these postseason games and back in the Super Bowl. 617-779-7937. You can discuss weather games there as well. We'll get to the NFC Championship, which means the Patriots will be facing the Seahawks in the Super Bowl 2 weeks from now. We'll get to that right after Trending with Billy.